maturity, especially earlier in the season, especially with a lot of returners that you guys have coming back?
Yeah, it's critical. I mean, I think it gives you an opportunity to get off to a fast start. You know, guys are familiar with the system. They're familiar with some of the things that we're doing. They're familiar with the style of which we want to play the game. They're familiar with each other and the communication and all the things that go into being successful on the field.
Having Miles Capers back, how does he look? How big is he?
Yeah, he looks great. I mean, he's going to be a critical part of our defense. Obviously, he's a dynamic player. He can, obviously change the game at any moment. And, he's been putting in a lot of work, and I'm really excited that he's going to be out there with us.
What do you make of what you guys have at star?
It's a work in progress right now. You know, there's a lot of new guys playing at that position, but very talented guys. And they're all competing with each other, but also pushing each other. And we'll see how training camp goes. We'll see who emerges. But there'll probably be some level of all those guys getting snaps at some point this season.
So is it a competition at this point?
Everything's a competition. I mean, this is football, right? So if it's not, what are we doing out here?
You got a lot of experience at defensive back. How do you see that, helping the defense as you go closer to?
Yeah, it's critical. I mean, that's a position where you're out on an island and you're in space, and typically when you see a big play happen, it's the name on the back of the jersey of the DB that's running after him. So those guys have done a great job of having continuity, playing with each other, understanding how to communicate and work off of each other in certain moments and within certain schemes. So that's been a really good bright spot for us right now.
You kind of self-scouted from last year to this year. What kind of stood out and what you wanted to kind of focus on here in the spring and now leading into the season?
I think obviously we want to improve our third down performance. That's been an area of emphasis, understanding how to create and do some different things within the front and manipulate protections and do things like that. Overall improve our pass defense. I think our run defense was pretty stout last year. We did some good things in that area, but finishing in 2-minute situations, really focusing on having a really good package there and understanding how we need to play situational football in order to make sure that we're, limiting points in those critical moments.
You talked about the corners a little bit, but the pass coverage really struggled last year. How does that talented safety room play into that this season?
It's big, when you got, especially I keep saying it, but the communication aspect, right? I mean, when you play in the secondary and really across the whole defense, but you have to be on the same page. And guys talking to each other, having safeties that are experienced, that can alert guys to certain splits and formations and tips and tendencies on what routes might be coming, allows those guys to play fast. So I also think the corner room is very talented. I think Caden is a young kid that's shown, to make plays so far through the spring and summer and now early in training camp. Martell, obviously experienced guy. Jordan Matthews is a guy that came on towards the end of last year, and he's been looking really good this year so far too. So we have guys in that room that can play. But yeah, the safeties, the communication, the continuity amongst those guys is really going to help us.
Can you put in perspective just how difficult it is to do what Martell does on all facets of the game? And do you think he's just better served now, kind of focusing more on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think that's been a little bit of the emphasis, is to kind of take some off his plate and make him, a cornerback that has some punt return ability. And if they decide so that they want to have something for him to do on offense, they will. But right now he's really been focused on playing corner, and I think you see the fruits of that throughout this offseason because he's been playing at a high level.
As the defensive coordinator, how do you evaluate the quarterbacks so far?
Well, I think I like all of our quarterbacks. I think they've all done a great job. They all compete with each other. They all have a really good relationship amongst each other. There's no egos. There's no jealousy within that room from what I see. Obviously, I'm not coaching those guys and on that side of the ball, but we have guys that are mobile, that can throw the ball, that can make all the throws, and it'll be interesting to see. And I'm excited to see to make it challenging on them in practice so that we can find the right guy.
Every time we talk to Clark, it's always, we're building on last year. Last year is not the standard. We're trying to achieve whatever. Defensively, and the guys in your room, how have you seen them embrace that?
We definitely embrace it. I mean, we want to elevate, not just, in the defense side of the ball, our program. That's where we see ourselves going. We have high aspirations. We have a lot of belief in what we can do. And the goal is to just keep climbing, just keep making this thing the best program in college football. And, we're trying to do that defensively, become the best defense in college football. And that's our mindset. And, people can say what they want about it, but as the competitor, that's what you should be approaching for.
Obviously, Miles is going to be one of your key pass rushers. Who are other guys that can really give you help off the edge or from somewhere else in terms of getting after the
Yeah, obviously, honestly, like Brian Longwell and Nick Rinaldi are really good pass rushers for us. Bryce Cowan has an ability to rush off the second level. I think Brian Allen, who we added in the portal from Iowa is going to be a guy that has opportunity. You know, Issa, as a big guy inside, can get some pass rush on some of the mismatches that he can create on the interior part of the line. But we'll continue to evolve that through training camp and see who emerges as we start to do some one-on-one pass rush stuff and more live stuff against the offensive line, and obviously try to create packages and put guys in position to where they can go have success.
Last question.
What have you learned about just Issa in the last year and his personality from what he's gone through with the injury?
Yeah, just, you know, he has mental toughness. You know, obviously things didn't go the way he wanted them to go last year. He's a prideful guy. He wants to be out here with his teammates. He wants to win, and he wants to perform at a high level. And he's not selfish. He's a good leader. And I'm really happy that he's back and he's feeling good and he's doing the things that he's doing right now for us.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.